Hello and welcome BitMonger family, Monger here, and in today's topic I am going to talk about why in life it's important you take risk. And as they say, no risk, no reward. And I've been looking at life from this perspective for quite a long time. And my view on life generally is, life is about experiences. You know, at the end of the day, you can't take shit with you when you die, right? So the only thing that you have in your life is experiences. And that's part of the reason when I was a very young man, in my early 20s, I boarded a plane and flew to Hawaii. And I was in Hawaii for a little bit. I was working there. Didn't know anybody. Just showed up, started working, was doing a diving job. And then later, I moved to Thailand. And I was still in my early 20s. And this is way before it became like a hot spot for tourism. And the reason why I moved there is because I wanted adventure. Life is an adventure. And honestly, who wants to be doing an adventure when you're an old man? You know, why would you want to? I had the perspective of, you know, I want to do these types of wild, crazy things while I'm a young man, because when you're an old man, there's a lot of things that you're not going to be able to do. You know, you're not going to be surfing Uluwatu. You're not going to most likely be doing, you know, leading a dive tour off the islands of Thailand. You're not going to be most likely, you know, partying your ass off, having the time of your life, cruising a motorbike back to your bungalow in the middle of the morning with some sweet little hottie on the back. It's just not happening. And I saw the value in that. And I was willing to take the risk. You know, for a long time when I was younger, I didn't think I was going to probably live past 40. A bunch of my buddies that I grew up with, you know, died of accidents. And you just don't know when, you know, your time is up. And I wanted to live the most. And the way I would get the most of my life is through unique experiences. You know, I look at these guys that spend their whole life, you know, in the United States. You know, God help you if you spent your whole life just in one city or a town or in one state. You know, I look at these people and they may have certain experiences that they had, that they enjoyed. But for me, I found it mundane, ordinary, familiar. You know, that didn't make me excited. And I look at these guys and I kind of feel sorry for them. It's like, oh, you're retired now, and now you're moving to Southeast Asia as an old man, and you're going to try to catch up. Well, I mean, hey, better late than never. But for you younger men out there that are listening to this or see this video, I strongly recommend that you go out and live your life. You know, do things that can help you along the way, like going to a school or getting certifications, things that can enable you to live a better life in order to take care of yourself. But by all means, you know, make sure that you use it to gain cool experiences, because memories and experiences are things that you will hold with you forever. And this factors across all over, you know, whether it be moving to another country, or whether it be making an investment. If you don't take risk, you're not going to reap the rewards. So sometimes you have to go for it. And if you're not willing to go for it, well, then you're probably going to be living a boring life. I mean, I can honestly say, if I were to, have a heart attack right now from all the smoking and shit that I do, and if I were to die, I would have pretty much no regrets, because I know I've lived a full life. Not only have I lived a full life, I've also been a father, which is something that I only realized how important and wonderful it was after the fact. At the time, I had no idea how, what a joy it would be to be a father and play that role. And I believe it's part of the life cycle. So I would encourage you guys that if you do find a woman that's lovely, you do have a kid at some point in your life, assuming that you're willing to take that responsibility. You have to take responsibility. I see so many of these guys. You see it very often in Southeast Asia in particular, and in particular the Philippines, which is sad, but you see all these single mamas. And, the crazy thing is that these women get pregnant, and then the guy runs away. Really good Christians, huh? Really good Christians. Well, I just kind of snicker. But hey, if you take responsibility, if you're a man, and be a good dad, support your kid, and try to help them so they can have a good life. Just making them is the fun part, but being a real man is stepping up and taking care of them, and being responsible in those regards. But take risk, guys. You need to take risk. I've taken many risks, not only in just travel and living my life to the fullest, but I took a risk also when I went back to school. It was a calculated risk, but I knew that it was a good one. Investing in yourself and investing in education, if you see a purpose for it, I'm totally down for that. If it can give you a better quality of life, if it gives you a high probability of securing a good job, then by all means, do it. Take the time out to do it. Try to have fun along the way, of course, but I recommend that you do those things. It wasn't until my mid-40s, near late 40s, I was in my mid-40s, where I saw a financial advisor and I realized that my life was fucked and I needed to take risk. And if I didn't take the risk, I would be screwed, and I would be working well into my 70s. And that wasn't appealing to me. At the same time, I realized I was going to need to take risk in investing to change that. And it was, take the risk, possibly change your life massively, or not take the risk and continue working probably for the rest of my life, and maybe have enough at some point when I'm already old and be able to take care of myself when I'm much, much older. But remember, guys, you don't know when your time is up, right? So I would say try to find a delicate balance. I personally was willing to risk a lot in order to get out of that scenario. So I did invest bigly in Bitcoin and crypto before all these other people figured it out. And that absolutely changed my life. And then I started studying money and finance and how to, because once you make the money, the next goal is not as much how to grow it. You want to grow it some, but that's not mission critical. Once you have it, it's more about protecting it and preserving it so you can live a certain standard. And that's where I'm at. So everybody's different in these regards. But you want to try to look for opportunities. And when you see an opportunity, you need to grab it. Whether that being taking a trip, or making an investment, or getting involved with a woman, starting a family. Just try to make wise choices. Don't be rushed. Have patience. But when you see those opportunities and you know that they're good, and you know that you can make some wonderful experiences from them, then by all means, jump in. If you make calculated risk, it can change your life, just like it did mine. And remember, life is about experiences, and you want to get those experiences while you can, preferably before you're an old man. I mean, I saw a video about some guys talking about how it was such a big fucking deal, to be moving over to Southeast Asia, and he was like already in his 60s, and I just kind of chuckle. I mean, I understand it, but at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, wow, this guy has had a real kind of fucking mundane, boring life. For most of his life, it's just been kind of blah. And this is a daunting kind of big deal, just to get on a plane and move to another place where, to me, I've been doing it since my early 20s, Right when I turned 20, I was out. I had already been doing it. So, don't be so fearful, guys. Take risk and monger on.